Have you ever felt completely alone even when surrounded by people? It's a quiet kind of pain. Not loud like anger, not sharp like fear. Just a hollow ache that says, no one really sees me. Sometimes we smile and talk. We laugh at the right moments. We play our part. But inside there is a sense of disconnection. Like we're drifting. Like we're pretending. And maybe the most painful part isn't being unseen by others. It's feeling lost even to ourselves. The Buddha understood this. Not just social loneliness, but a deeper existential kind. A sense of being separated from truth, from peace, from our own inner clarity. He spoke of this when he said, though one may live 100 years without wisdom or contemplation, better is one day of life lived with wisdom and mindfulness. Dhammapada verse 111. Real connection, he taught, doesn't start with other people. It starts with awareness, with turning inward. Loneliness, then, isn't something to escape. It's something to listen to. In the quiet ache of being alone, there is a message. Come home to yourself. In the Sutta Nipata, the Buddha praised the one who is inwardly steady. As a deer lives in the forest, content and free, so should a wise one dwell alone but not lonely. Sutta Nipata 1.3. This is not isolation. This is solitude. A sacred space where we begin to hear what truly matters. In the next part, we'll explore how the Buddha faced aloneness during his years of practice and why turning inward was the beginning of his liberation. Maybe loneliness isn't a sign that something is wrong. Maybe it's an invitation to return to what's real. Before he became the Buddha, Siddhartha left behind everything. His palace, his wealth, his family. Not because he hated the world, but because something deeper was calling. He wandered alone through forests and villages. He sat under trees in silence. He faced hunger, discomfort, and doubt. And yet, in that aloneness, he found something unexpected. Clarity. In the solitude of the forest, the noise of the world faded, and the truth of the heart became louder. The Buddha said, the one who is inwardly peaceful, who has abandoned craving, is not lonely even when alone. Itibutta kakao. This wasn't just poetic language. It was his lived experience. He realized that loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is the pain of disconnection. Solitude is the presence of deep connection to oneself, to truth. Modern life keeps us constantly stimulated. We scroll, we text, we fill every quiet moment, but underneath it all, the ache of isolation remains. The Buddha offered a radical alternative. Stop running. Sit. Listen. Not to escape the world, but to rediscover yourself within it. In the Majjhima Nikaya MN 26, he describes his time alone. I withdrew into the forest. Even the sound of leaves falling was loud, but I remained seeing the danger in distraction and the blessing in stillness. Aloneness, he taught, can become the ground for awakening, not a punishment, but a path. In the next part, we'll explore how to meet our own loneliness, not by fighting it, but by bringing compassion to the part of us that feels left behind. Being alone isn't always a wound. Sometimes it's where healing begins. Loneliness is often misunderstood. We think it means something is wrong with us, that if we feel alone, we must be failing at life or love. But what if loneliness isn't a flaw? What if it's a signal? A voice within saying, come closer to yourself. The Buddha didn't teach us to suppress difficult emotions. He taught us to meet them with compassion. In the Karanya Metta Sutta, he said, even as a mother protects with her life, her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings. Sutta Nipata in ko etin. And that includes ourselves. When we feel alone, we often look outward. Who will understand me? Who will fix this ache? But the path begins inward. Can I be kind to the part of me that feels abandoned? The Buddha taught metta loving kindness as an antidote to fear, anger, and isolation. Not just toward others, but toward ourselves. In the Anguttara Nikaya, he said, you can search the whole world and not find anyone more deserving of your love than you. Anguttara Nikaya Ansiu 2. This is not selfishness. it is healing. To sit with our loneliness, to hold it gently, is to begin building the very connection we long for, not by escaping the feeling, but by softening around it. Sometimes the most compassionate thing we can do is to say to ourselves, I know you feel alone right now, but I'm here. I won't leave you. And in that moment, the loneliness becomes a little lighter. In the next part, we'll explore how real connection with others begins not with being surrounded, but with being rooted within. The heart that welcomes itself is never truly alone. We search for connection outside of ourselves, for someone to understand, to listen, to stay. But even in the best relationships, something can still feel missing. That missing piece isn't always someone else. Sometimes it's the connection to our own heart. The Buddha taught that true refuge is not in another person, place, or belief. It's in our own awareness. In the Dhammapada, he said, one truly is the protector of oneself. Who else could the protector be? Dhammapada, verse 160. This doesn't mean we don't need others. It means we must first come home to ourselves. Because when we are rooted within, our connections with others become deeper, more honest and less demanding. We no longer seek people to complete us, but to walk beside us. The Buddha lived in forests, often alone, but he never taught isolation. He taught interbeing, not as dependence, but as shared presence. In the Samyutta Nikaya, he said, with good friends, good companions, good associates, a practitioner is sure to develop the noble eightfold path. Samyutta Nikaya Kokufai 2. But this friendship begins with how we relate to ourselves. Can we be a good companion to our own mind? Can we sit with our thoughts, not as enemies, but as visitors? Real connection begins within, not in fixing ourselves, but in welcoming what's here. The loneliness starts to soften when we stop running from ourselves. And then slowly, we begin to meet the world, not from a place of emptiness, but from a fullness that asks nothing, but offers everything. This is the path the Buddha walked. This is the path we can walk too. Connection is not something we find, it is something we remember and return to.